If you're a business owner, likes don't pay your bills, clients do. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact methods I've used to create more than $250 million in sales for my clients, helping them implement these 3 evergreen strategies that are going to work as well today as they will in 5, 10, or even 15 years. Because the thing is, 99% of business owners posting online trying to get clients are focused on getting the most visible reaction instead of the right kind of action, which is sales. The good news is it only takes a few small tweaks to turn content that only gets likes into content that gets you clients too. So let's get into it. Social media gurus have trained us to think that a successful post is one that gets tons of views and likes and shares. When most people are starting out with content trying to get clients, they default to what they've been hearing from these gurus for the past 10 or 15 years online, which is just give value. Give people all the answers inside of your head to prove that you're an expert. Eventually, they're going to be grateful enough to pay you, or so the theory goes. So you start sharing content that I would call information-based or value content. These are actionable quick tips and tricks that answer how to do something. It might be a checklist or some templates or an ultimate guide to your area of expertise, or even content based on pain points that gives them a step-by-step solution to that pain. But there's a problem with sharing content like this. It closes a psychological loop inside of your potential buyers' heads. When someone has a challenge or a question or an issue that they need help with, it opens this psychological loop inside their brains. They walk around all day with this question kind of subconsciously gnawing at their minds. It's actually down to a couple of different psychological principles, but a big one is called the Zeigarnik effect. So the Zeigarnik effect is the unconscious urge to finish what we've started, like an unfinished task or challenge in our business that we can't solve. But once that task is completed or we get an answer to our question, even if it's not the right answer, people get psychological relief. And when people have psychological relief, there's no need for them to buy anything from you because that psychological itch has been scratched. Even if they don't have the right answer, they have some answer and the loop is closed. That's why when you share tips and tricks and answers, it might feel good to you as a business owner because it feels like you're doing something and that you're doing something valuable. But in reality, it makes you no different than ChatGPT. You're giving people an answer without any insight as to why it's the right answer. A much better style of content to share if you're someone who's selling a service or expertise is what I call insight-based content. This is content that's designed not to give people all the answers, but instead to give them a light bulb moment or an aha moment where they have this sudden realization that they've been approaching things in the wrong way and now see their challenges in their business or in their life through a different set of eyes. That's kind of like a mini transformation that happens inside of their heads, and instead of closing a loop, it opens more loops and questions, but they're productive questions. They are strategic questions. They're helping this person answer the question of why they should do or not do something in their lives or their careers or their businesses. These are the posts that make someone stop scrolling and tilt their head and say, wait, I never really thought about it like that before. And that's the kind of content that gets people to buy from you. And by the way, this video is the first video in a 4-part series all about creating content that actually gets you clients. So make sure to like and subscribe to get notified as new videos come out twice a week. But back to insight-based content. So here's a quick example of how to create it. Imagine you're a graphic designer. Instead of posting value content like 5 Instagram luxury templates you can copy and paste, you could share a post like 5 reasons why your Instagram posts are making your products look cheap. The first one, the templates, closes the loop because it appears to hand people the answer. But the thing is, it doesn't matter how many luxury Instagram templates you have if you don't understand as a business owner why your Instagram is attracting people who don't think your luxury products are worth the price. In the second example, the 5 reasons why your Instagram posts are making products look cheap, instead of copy-pasting templates, now people are asking themselves questions like, does my product look cheap? Because I feel like people have been really price sensitive lately. Like they're asking if I have coupons or sales, and I don't think they would be doing that if my brand was coming across as a luxury brand. So clearly something is broken. I need to have some Instagram posts that are made especially for my brand and business. So maybe I should hire this person that shared this because they seem to know a lot about how to transmit the idea of luxury into my buyers' heads using Instagram. In this world of ChatGPT, information is cheap. People are drowning in information, but they will beat down your door if you can give them insight and tell them why something is happening or not happening. But as powerful as insight-based content is, there's actually another type of content that's even more powerful when it comes to getting people to trust and buy from you. Okay, so we've established that insight-based content is really, really important, but now let's go a level deeper. This is where I'm going to say something that might come off as a little bit controversial, but I want you to just go with me on it for a second. The internet is full of business and marketing gurus who are plagued by short-term thinking. They view the world as a huge group of clients that they can just kind of burn through. They can treat people any way that they want to, they can talk to them any way they want, and if they annoy one of them with too many sales messages, there is 1,000 of them waiting in the wings to buy. Now, not only do I think that's an unethical way to look at the world and to look at buyers, it's also just not true, especially if you're someone who sells expertise. The world is just a lot smaller than people think it is, so that means that you need to treat people right. That means don't be pushy, don't be annoying, don't sell like a used car salesman or a scammy marketer who uses these like pushy sales funnels that upsell and downsell and confuse and way over discount. Instead, move people through what I call a trust funnel. Now, the trust funnel is a framework I created for my business, Choice Hacking, where I help people build million-dollar-plus brands with the power of psychology and AI. I'm not going to dive too deeply into the mechanics of the trust funnel in this video, but I will link to a few videos in the description that explain it more completely. Instead, what I want you to remember is this. Every piece of content that you post should do 3 things. Build trust, show people you understand why their problem is happening and how you solve other problems like it for your clients. 2 is create a parasocial connection. So make them feel like they know you, they like you, and they want to hear from you again. So show your face, share your voice. And last is to build a bridge to your offer. So hint at the system, the perspective to help them solve their problem, but don't give away the whole answer. Not only because you have rare and valuable expertise that you should not be giving away for free, but because, let's be honest, in this economy, who is going to pay for what they can get for free? That may sound a little bit harsh, but you are running a business. And so many of the clients that I work with got into business because they love to help people. But sometimes they help people when they should be charging to help people. So know your worth and know the difference between what you're willing to give away and what is too valuable. And by the way, do me a favor, if you're enjoying this video so far, could you drop a like? Because those little signals actually really help this video find more viewers, and it helps our new YouTube channel grow. So here's an example. I worked with a career coach we're going to call M. He had a really strong offer, fairly large following, but his content just wasn't converting the way that it should. Basically, he was working way too hard for way too little in return. So we reframed his strategy around the trust funnel. For trust, he shared insights around like why interviews go wrong, why resumes are rejected, why skipping a cover letter is a big mistake, things like that. To create a parasocial connection, he told stories about his own layoffs and pivots, so those moments that made him feel human. We got him away from posting mainly on text-only channels like Twitter and LinkedIn, and I managed to persuade him to start creating videos, even though, to be honest, he was a little bit nervous about it. And for the bridge to his offer, we always made sure to present it as the next step, the answers, and access to someone who could get to know their specific context, their specific situation, and how best to help them. Pretty soon, people started commenting things on his posts like, oh, I really feel seen by this, or oh, I get this is exactly how I feel. And because M was sharing mostly insight-based content, he was creating a parasocial connection and he was building trust. Then he was building a bridge to his offer. So he started selling out consistently. That's the power of trust and the trust funnel. It's not about being annoying or pushy or making people feel like they're messing up all the time and without you, they're just going to keep failing. It's about building trust and connection and making it obvious that your offer can solve their problem, treating people with respect and playing a long-term game. And by the way, if you want to learn more about my trust funnel model, you can visit trustfunnelsnotsalesfunnels.com. So now that we've got insight and trust, let's talk about the psychology behind why people actually buy based on content. There's a lot of misinformation floating around the internet around why people buy and what their motivations are for doing it. And as somebody who runs a marketing psychology consultancy who's worked with brands like Microsoft and McDonald's, I really hate to see those bros on LinkedIn sharing these like psychology hacks that really have no basis in reality other than sounding good and getting a bunch of likes and a bunch of AI comments. They work with this mentality that if you just pressure people enough or if you say some magic words, you're going to turn 100% of people from a never gonna buy to a yes, I'm gonna buy right now, give it to me at any price. It's like some Wolf of Wall Street fantasy that doesn't really exist in the real world. In reality, research says that people buy mostly because of timing. Now, that's not sexy, like Leo DiCaprio is not gonna star in a movie about it, but it is what the research says, and it's actually what works. It's called the 95-5 rule, and it's really important if you're selling a product or a service. Now, does that mean that 5% of your audience or your subscribers are automatically gonna buy from you no matter what you say? No, absolutely not. That is where persuasion comes in. You need to let them know that they might have this need and they might be ready to buy something to satisfy it, and that your particular product or offer is the right thing to satisfy that need. What it also means is that when you're sharing content, 95% of the people that you share it with are building up this bank of trust and familiarity and liking and memories about who you are and what you do inside their head. It's also why making daily offers is incredibly important as opposed to focusing a business just on big launches. But that is a topic for another video series. The point here is twofold. One is don't get down on yourself if you're sharing content and people are not immediately buying. It takes time. Sure, some people might see you and immediately buy something, but they're going to be mostly outliers. Everyone else needs time to get to know you and, frankly, to remember and understand what you do so that when it's time to buy, they remember and buy from you. So make sure you build your content with this long-term mentality. And a second related point, make sure that you're selling in the best place for sales. And to be frank, that is not social media. The purpose of social media, the sole purpose, is for people to discover you and get to know you and then get onto your email list. Now, this is a hill I will die on because I've worked with hundreds of clients in my career. I'm working with a ton of them right now. And I can tell you, no matter who you're targeting, that email is a conversion channel and social media has one primary purpose: to get people on your newsletter. Anything else is just going to confuse and overwhelm you. Social media on its own is not enough to build a $1 million solo brand. It is part of a bigger model and system. It's what I teach every day inside of Chief Business Copilot, how to install the choice hacking model inside of your business. You work together with me and the other choice hackers toward one simple aim: build a $1 million plus brand with the power of buyer psychology and AI. And by the way, if your aims are a little bit more modest than $1 million business, don't worry. The tools, the model, and the systems are designed to get you there even if you're starting from zero. They're the same approaches, models, and tools I've used to create more than $250 million in sales and more than $10 million in investment for my solo SMB and Fortune 500 clients like Microsoft, McDonald's, Starbucks, Adidas, and many more. And you can learn more about it at chiefbusinesscopilot.com. So if you want to post content that actually gets clients, share lightbulb moments, share insights, not just information, open loops that help people ask themselves strategic questions that you can help them answer, and use every post to move people through your trust funnel. Build trust, create a parasocial connection, and then build a bridge to your offer. And finally, understand why people actually buy. Only 5% of them are ready to buy at any given moment, so make sure you're thinking long term, getting people in your email list and treating them not like the gurus do, like a disposable resource, but with respect and a long-term vision. So now you know what to post. But most people get stuck on how to come up with those insights and how to create those light bulb moments for their buyers. That's why in the next video, I'll show you the exact process I use to find and create insight-based content that actually gets clients.